Hey guys, I'm not sure if it's live yet, so I'm just going to gather my thoughts here. Hi, Dr. Danielle here with you. I am a doctor of psychology and licensed clinical social worker from San Diego, California. As you join or watch the recording, again, I love to meet you guys, so please say hi and where you're joining from. As you see, I go back and make comments and say hello to everybody. So please let me know you're on. And we're going to dive into neurological concerns today. So I know I asked a question on my Facebook page about what kind of questions you have, and there was several with neurological concerns. So I'm going to go into that. So good morning, and some of you asked some other questions that I may do another brain talk on, just so you know. Let me give you a little bit about my background as we're getting started so you can kind of understand my forte and my expertise. So I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I got my master's from San Diego State, and I studied clinical mental health. So basically, mental health disorders is really my forte. And I worked with teenagers, and mostly what I did was trauma. I worked with suicidal ideation and trauma. So then I went on to get my doctorate in clinical psychology. So again, clinical mental health disorders. And I studied PTSD and trauma. So you can see my forte is really in the trauma area, but I do have a lot of expertise in the entire mental health field. So I did my dissertation on PTSD and aromatherapy. However, I chose PTSD because it has a wide range of symptoms. And when you look at essential oils aren't necessarily studied for a diagnostic disorder, for example. So what their studies is they're showing symptom management more than anything. So a lot of people say, well, what oils can I use for bipolar? And I ask, well, what symptom are you trying to manage a bipolar? What symptom are you trying to manage a PTSD? You really put it down to the symptom. Are you feeling a heightened sense like anxiousness? Then you're going to look at an essential oil that helps to calm the central nervous system and calm with anxiousness. Are you looking at where you're just having a really hard time focusing, such as like sometimes in autism? Then you're looking at an essential oil that you want to look at for that symptom. So I hope that helps if when you guys are looking at these major things, just break it down. What are you trying to do? And in research, it's really broken down for the clinical world anyway into like 5 categories that I've seen, which is why you guys see that I focus on these 5 categories, because I follow research and I love to hear testimonials, and I think those are great too, but I really follow the research, and that's what you guys get with me. So the 5 categories are going to be uplifting mood, and again, these are research that show they uplift mood. The other category is going to be anxious emotions and managing those. Another category is going to be memory. Another one is focus and attention. And another one is stress. Okay, so those are the main categories I see when I look at essential oils and brain research. And so you can see that those 5 really do tie into several different things. So like if we're talking autism, there's even some difficulty with autism with memory and attention, and then the stress and necessarily mood and things like that. So you get to play around with several things. There are very few studies done with addiction, so that is another category I have written about. And there are studies done with concussions, and so I have done some studies with those. And so the concussions, including traumatic brain injury. Now, again, concussions and traumatic brain injury are not a mental health disorder, but we see people with onset of symptoms of mental health, which is why I have studied that. So, okay, I'm giving you this big background. And what I'm trying to tell you is I get a lot of questions that are neurological. And so I titled this brain talk a neurological one. So we're going to talk about some neurological concerns. I just want to let you guys know this is not my expertise. I do study things with the brain, so I can make some connections, but I obviously with mental health, but I do not study strokes, Parkinson's, migraines, like these types of things are not my forte neurologically, what's going on. So I've looked up some stuff, and I'm going to give a few ideas here. And again, you'll have to do some of your own research, or maybe hopefully one day we'll have like a neurologist that really can join and partner with me on completing what we're trying to understand with the brain. That would be amazing. But I just want to be true to what I know, which is essential oils, emotions, and mental health. So that's really my forte. But I love to try to branch out and help. And I know I've had some family members that have had some great success with some essential oils. So just give you some personal stuff too. So that's where we're going to start. That's what today is about. I'm going to talk more on the neurological. I had a lot of questions on topics that I do talk about and I have done videos on, and I will do more. But I also put in this post a link to my YouTube channel. And I started a different YouTube channel. I know a lot of you guys have already followed my old one, but what I didn't realize is that my old one was connected to an old email, and so I had to and they wouldn't let me transfer. So restarting my YouTube channel. So if you go to that, you can subscribe. All my new videos will be posted there, and we're going to shift everything to the new YouTube channel at some point. So hopefully the link works that I sent you, because I just copied and pasted real quick. So go ahead and go to that YouTube channel. That's where the archive of videos will be, and you will see some on memory, you'll see some on anxiousness, and you'll see that I've done a lot even on stress and trauma, which is the, kind of the PTSD talk. And so you can look at what I've already done, and then I love the suggestions that you guys gave me in the question I asked in my page. Some great ones here, and we'll do some more specific talks on, again, memory, anxiety, PTSD for toddlers. That was a great one to talk about how it affects actually in the younger age. So that's beautiful. Brain fog. Yes, these are definitely things that I study and can do. So let's go into, I see there's a lot of you joining. Hello, great to be here live with you. And I see you're from Connecticut. I see everybody from Norway. Wow, Norway, that's far away from me. I love it. In South Africa. Hello, Diane. Wonderful. So please, as you type in, this will be a good, hi, Dorothy. Oh, yay. So that is somebody I just love. I used to work with Dorothy. She hired me and trained me in all of my, background with working with teens. So really cool. Wonderful to see you guys on. So let's do this. If you can type in, maybe you want to tag some people before I dive into, like I said, we're going to really focus on migraines, strokes, and Parkinson's, and I'm going to go into a little bit into memory today, okay? And then I'll do a full video, another video on memory, but I do have another one already done, so if you want to search on my archive on either my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, and you'll see it in there. So, oh yay, so fun to see you on, Dorothy. Hi, Kelly. So this will be a good time to tag people or share this in your groups, because we're going to get started. And if I can ask someone to be a little bit of a scribe, that would be very helpful. So as you are joining, and if you're on a computer, maybe you can kind of type in some of the things that I say to help others with making the connection and learning process in our brain. And then lastly, I'm going to ask you guys, as I talk about each subject, will you please share what you've used, what's worked for you? Because again, I'm going to talk about some things that are outside of what I have studied, outside of my scope of practice. But I've looked up some stuff to try to help you in your journey and guidance, using things to support these neurological concerns. And if you know of a neurologist that would love to partner with me, I would love that too. All right, so let's start with migraines. And for those of you who have experience with migraines and essential oils, this is an extreme, condition, but if you can share what has eased that pain for you, those migraines, in the comments, that would be so helpful. So please type that in now. But let's just do a little smidge of an overview. I wrote some notes here. Migraines are a lot caused. In fact, Dorothy has a PhD in, Dr. Dorothy, I should say, has a PhD in nursing. She could talk more on this than I can. So I'm going to do one little thing here, vasodilation. So vasodilation is expanding of blood vessels that causes a release of neurochemicals into the chemicals into the bloodstream, and these cause inflammation and pain, a lot of discomfort, right? In fact, if Dr. Dorothy wants to share a little bit about migraines even more than I'm going to give, that would be awesome if you're typing in. So, oh yeah, that's wonderful. Use some of these for the nurses. I love it. I'd be happy to come and speak at those too, Dr. Dorothy. That would be amazing. So let's look at some essential oils. What's interesting is, because migraines, and I don't understand, like I said, this is not, neurological disorders aren't my forte, but because migraines are vasodilation, so it's like opening, expanding, and causing different chemicals to be released and causing inflammation and pain. What's interesting to me is peppermint and birch were high on the list for treating these, And those are also cause vasodilation. So I don't know why that works, but I thought that was interesting. And in fact, I have a brother-in-law who gets migraines. And if he can catch them early stage with peppermint, it'll completely soothe them and ease it from going into where he's down for the entire day. So I do know that those really help. And I'm seeing that you guys are sharing what works for you. That is amazing. I love that Dawn Clary Calm works for you because that's really a hormone target. And you can see that migraines aren't caused always by the exact same reason that's going on with you. Some of them are optical, some of them are hormonal. And so this is going to vary so much. But I will give you some target oils, especially those that help with inflammation. We want to regulate this inflammation when this happens. So frankincense is going to be top one. And I get like neck headaches sometimes, and the frankincense and peppermint are my two. I just put them on the neck and it completely soothes it. It eases it so much. So, okay, so the next one on the list is lavender. And again, that's going to calm the central nervous system. And marjoram, which is a calmant as well. And then I said birch already. So those are like your top heavy hitters that you can start with. And I love that everybody is helping with what works for them. Amy said frankincense on the roof of her mouth. That's a great way to get it up to the brain because again, those aromatic molecules are going to travel up directly through the brain. And frankincense is a sesquiterpene, which has been seen in research to surpass the blood-brain barrier. So that's a good one for mitigating or regulating that neuroinflammation going on. Yes, Dr. Dorothy, let's talk about adjunct faculty. I love it. You're always a go-getter. I love it. So yes, happy about that. That would be great. Let's see. Brenda said 2 drops of juniper berry and helichrysum at the base of the brain. So that's going to be here. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing that. So that's a great one. Let's see what else. Past tense is an essential oil blend that helps with the pressure. So again, if your migraines are by the temples, you could do that. Peppermint adaptive, that's interesting. Adaptive's working for you, Kelly. I love it. Frankincense, lemon, peppermint. Yeah, so you guys can see a little bit of information here that will really help you. Sis Carpenter, oh, I love that. Love your name. Frankincense and copaiba and peppermint in a roller bottle. These are wonderful. Thanks, you guys. This is such a great topic, and I know this is such a needed topic. So continue to type them in if you have experience with using essential oils for migraines, because this is very helpful for everybody. So let's go on to the next neurological concern that was written in my topics, and that is strokes. So let's go into strokes. And again, I'm going to just let you know, I'm just reading what I found on a medical website on strokes. This is not my area of target. Like, I'm a clinical psychologist. This is mental health. So let's look at strokes though. Okay, so we know on a base level, and if there's any nurses or neurologists or doctors on here that like know more on the physiological or biological process happening, I'd love for you to type it in of what's going on with strokes. And now I'm also going to ask, for those of you who have dealt with in your family or strokes, what have you used to support the process of recovery? If you can type in what you've used now, that would be super helpful. So from what my little medical search did on strokes, we know that there's an interruption of blood supply to certain areas of the brain, causing a blockage of blood vessels and bleeding and cell death. Okay, very similar to what's going on with sometimes with concussions. And so strokes are going to, so you got an interruption of blood flow and sometimes even some dried blood on certain areas of the brain. I had a friend that had a baby while the baby was in the womb. She had had a neonatal stroke, and so that little area of dried blood caused a little bit of cerebral palsy type of diagnosis and type of malfunction. What I'm trying to say, it's because he wasn't paralyzed, but just limited accessibility to move his like hands and stuff. So anyway, so number 1 oil, and I just saw Dawn typed it in, is helichrysum. This is your blood oil. So just remember, this is one that's going to help with blood flow. and inflammation. It's incredible for tissue also, so tissue repair. So that's the top one. This is not the same, but when I this is when this is a couple of years ago, I was parked on a hill, and I got out of my car, and the hill, my door slammed, the corner of the door slammed into my shin. Oh, so gnarly. Luckily, I had the helichrysum. I had Immortelle, which has helichrysum in it, and I immediately put that onto this big goose egg that was forming, because again, this has caused an interruption in blood vessels. This is going to be very similar to concussions, a breakage of blood vessels, bleeding, and that helichrysum actually took the pain away within about, I would say, 10 minutes. The throbbing calmed down. In about an hour, didn't even feel. It was like feeling so much better. And by the next day, goose egg was gone. So that wouldn't have happened if I didn't use an intervention. I don't know about you guys. If you ever had anything that gnarly that hits your skin like that and causes a goose egg, it's usually at least a few days, if not a week. So again, the helichrysum, and it's going to be hard because again, your skull's underneath here. So you're going to find pulse points. So to get the brain or the oils up there. So occipital point, pulse points here, temples. Roof of the mouth, I don't know how helichrysum would taste, but the bottom of the big toe, okay? So just keep those points going every 4 hours is a really good window. 4 to 6 hours, use 1 drop of oil or 2 drops of oil for an adult. So would helichrysum help for blood flow for migraines? Possibly. I mean, I haven't seen research on it, but theoretically, you could try it. I think that would be amazing. Another Vibeke, sorry if I said that wrong, it's a beautiful name. She said her son had 2 strokes, so used frankincense and DDR prime. So DDR prime is a blend of oils that help with cellular health. So that's actually really brilliant that you use that, because if you think about the cell death going on from that interruption and the blockage in the blood flow, the DDR prime would be amazing. So, and frankincense. So that was the other one on the list, was frankincense. Again, you guys just want to bathe in frankincense when we're done talking. Besides the fact it helps with beauty and wrinkles, it's just an amazing oil. Let's see, cypress is another essential oil, and this is a circulation. We know that this helps with circulation. Varicose veins is a good one for put cypress. Your heart, anything circulatory, you're going to want to use cypress. So cypress and helichrysum and frankincense are the top 3 that were recommended in the research that I did for blood flow and strokes as well. Okay, so thank you for sharing your own experiences. Natalie, past tense and peppermint are you go-to for strokes? I'm not sure if you're talking about strokes or headaches there, because I know we just talked about headaches too. Dawn said helichrysum and balance. Wonderful, you guys. Thanks for sharing what's worked for you. So let's go into Parkinson's. So again, I looked up medical. In fact, I've got it pulled on my screen so I can read it a little bit more to you. And what we're going to talk about with this is a little bit about like what it is and what causes it, and then potentially some oils to help you with just the symptomatic and managing those types of things with it. So first off, Parkinson's we know is a lack of dopamine to a certain area of the brain that controls motor movement. So that's just a little base. Again, any doctors or nurses on here love to see you give a little bit more detail, because you guys are the experts, or neurologists, the experts in this area. So when this happens, it causes a disruption in your motor movement. So the symptoms can be from your hands or tremors and things like that. So a couple oils, and I'm going to ask you guys on here, live or recorded, please type in what essential oils have worked for you in managing the symptoms of Parkinson's. That would be wonderful, because again, you guys having the personal experience just ties the theory together. So a couple oils that have been shown. We have Balance. Okay, Balance essential oil is a blend of trees and trees, which is frankincense, as well as a few other oils that help with calming that central nervous system. We have frankincense again, I mentioned, myrrh, which I thought was really cool, Siberian fir. So those are some key ones you can try. And for the brain piece, again, you're going to use those same points, which are going to be occipital, pulse points, temples. breathing it in, and bottom of the big toe. But one of the really great areas, if you can have someone do this to you or you can do this on others, is the spine. And doing in circular motions on the spine for something, especially because all those cell ligands are going to take those little molecules from the essential oils through your entire central nervous system up to the brain. So a light spine massage would be incredible for any of these that I've talked about, stroke and migraines and Parkinson's. So my problem is I live with 2 cats and they can't really do that. So I'd have to find somebody to do that for me. But hopefully you guys can do some of those things for people that you're treating and just loving. So let me, oh yeah, I know what I wanted to do. So I study clinical and psychology. And so one of the areas I have done research on is essential oils that help with neurotransmitters. So there are a lot of research that shows it help with dopamine. Now, is it the specific dopamine that's targeting Parkinson's? That's not what I have studied. So I've studied it on the clinical level, meaning addictions as well as uplifting mood. So in my book called Mental Health and Aromatherapy, A Guide to PTSD, on page 94, you are going to see a list of neurochemicals, and these neurochemicals and the essential oils that have been studied with them. If you're new to my page and you don't know my book, there's a link for it on my website or on my Facebook to the website. The website is brainessentials.com, and you can purchase the book there. So we're going to look at dopamine. Now, these are essential oils that have been studied with dopamine. I didn't study them in regards to Parkinson's. I didn't look at those. So you would have to, again, play around. But one of the first ones is beta-pinene, which is in frankincense. So that's really cool. So you already know that, people have said that works. Eucalyptus is another one, and bergamot. So those are the 3 that tie into dopamine. I would say probably the frankincense and the eucalyptus would be 2 of your heavy hitters for that, for Parkinson's. And then I just want to repeat, so I said frankincense, myrrh, and Siberian fir are your top ones that from things that I've looked up that could help with those symptoms. Okay, so that's a little overview of neurological concerns. I know a couple questions talked about memory. So I've done a couple videos on memory, but your top heavy hitters that are going to improve memory. In fact, I think it's in my book, actually. Let me just check that. But number 1 is frankincense. Are you guys ready to buy frankincense in the gallons? Let's see, page. Let's see here. Would it be under behavior? Yeah, it is. So page 96 in my book. It says memory and learning. So you've got cardamom, turmeric, neroli, beta-pinene, which is in the frankincense, clove, and BCP, which is beta-caryophyllene, which is in copaiba, high in copaiba. So if I was going to give you my top heavy hitters for memory, when you're managing improving memory, Alzheimer's, dementia, anything that has to do with memory, again, these aren't studied necessarily at that level, some preclinical trials, but they're studies showing that they help with those same processes. So the theory is, will it help in the human with concerns? And that's what we're experimenting with plants. So I would highly suggest the top ones are going to be frankincense under the tongue or roof of the mouth every single day. That's what I would do. I already do it twice a day, frankincense under my tongue. So if you really want to target, I would do, 4 times a day, one drop, only 1 drop you need. Turmeric. I love that doTERRA actually has turmeric capsules. And this is a duo capsule with the curcuminoids and the essential oil, because studies I've seen show that both help with memory. And so this is a capsule that has both in it, and so I would use that. Neroli is a roller bottle. You can roll that on pulse points. So you've got frankincense under the tongue, turmeric in a capsule, copaiba in a capsule. And then the last one here is cardamom. And cardamom's a good one I would just put on, maybe on the bottom of the feet, on the big toe. Okay, so if someone typed in you know, some of those things that I said, that would be great too. And someone asked if I have a video about dementia. No, I've never done anything specifically on dementia because, again, at the beginning of my video, I talked a little bit more. Research really just shows those 5 categories. So we're hypothesizing, right? The theory is those 5 categories, how do those fit into all of these myriad of things that we're dealing with? And that's what we're experimenting with. So if you can, again, if you've had experience with Parkinson's and oils, please type that in. Someone just asked if I have suggestions for multiple sclerosis. I actually don't have any knowledge on multiple sclerosis. It is, again, another neurological concern I'd have to look up. But I do know, again, central nervous system and calming that nervous system, something like the aroma touch and the balance on the spine would be a good help for that. But maybe there's some people in here who have had more experience with that can type that in. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining. This was a little bit longer, but I really wanted to touch on those neurological concerns and let you know where my forte lies and how I can benefit and help you in any way I want to. And we have a lot of other topics that I will be touching on that are in my forte, and I'll do each of those as a full session. And just to repeat, I have more videos on my YouTube and even on the archive in Facebook that you can go through and comb through those and get the information that you're looking for on some of those subjects, like deeper into memory and anxiousness and stress and those types of things. So have a wonderful rest of your day, you guys. So great to be connected with you. Mwah. Lots of love to you all. Bye-bye.